In a quiet valley, far beyond the noise of crowded cities and restless minds, there lived a small fox named Lumo. The valley was soft and endless, painted in shades of green that seemed to breathe with the wind. Gentle hills rolled like waves, frozen in time, and at the center of it all stood an ancient vineyard, silent, mysterious, and always full of grapes. No one remembered who planted those vines. No one knew how long they had been there, but everyone knew one thing: the grapes were always just out of reach. Lumo had heard the stories since he was a cub. Those grapes, the older foxes would whisper, they look sweet, but they are sour. Too high, said some. Not worth it, said others. Better to walk away. And so, generation after generation, the foxes passed by the vineyard, never stopping, never trying, just believing. But Lumo was different. Not restless, not rebellious, just quietly curious. One evening, as the sky turned into soft shades of lavender and gold, Lumo wandered closer to the vineyard than he ever had before. The air felt different there, still, cool, almost like the world had taken a deep breath and forgotten to exhale. He looked up. Clusters of grapes hung from long twisting vines, glowing gently in the fading light. They shimmered like tiny moons, each one holding a secret Lumo sway load. They do look sweet, he whispered. But then the old thoughts crept in. They are sour. They are not for you. They are too high. Sat down beneath the vines. Not to jump, not to reach. Just to sit. Grass beneath him was soft, warmer than he expected. A gentle breeze brushed past his fur, carrying a faint, sweet scent. Not sour. Sweet, very faint. But Lumo closed his eyes. And for the first time, he didn't listen to what others had said. He listened to the silence. Time moved slowly there. Or maybe it stopped. It was hard to tell. The sky darkened into deep blue, and stars began to appear one by one, like quiet thoughts drifting into a calm mind. Lumo lay down. He wasn't thinking about the grapes anymore. Not really. He was just there. After a while, something strange happened. A soft sound, almost like a whisper. Why do you believe what you have never tasted? Lumo opened his eyes. He looked around. No one. Just the vine, gently swaying. Who said that? He asked softly. The leaves rustled again. Why do you call them sour if you have never tried? Lumo blinked. I heard it from others. And did they try? I don't think so. Then, whose truth are you living? The question lingered in the air, like mist over the valley. Lumo didn't answer. He didn't know. How the night grew deeper, cooler, softer, and the vineyard seemed to glow faintly under the moonlight. Lumo slowly stood up. He looked at the grapes again. Still high, still out of reach, but something had changed. Not the grapes, not the height. Him. He took a step back, then another. He bent slightly, feeling the ground beneath his paws. Not rushing, not forcing, just preparing that, and then a small jam knot, very high, not even close. But he didn't feel disappointed. He just landed and smiled. Again, a little higher. Still not enough, but softer this time, easier. Again and again. Each jump slow. Each movement calm. Like breathing, like drifting deeper into a dream. The night passed like this. Not with effort, not with struggle, but with care, repetition. And patience. Endless, gentle patience. By dawn, the sky turned pale. Birds began to sing. The world slowly woke up. And Lumo, he was tired, but peaceful. He sat beneath the vines. What more? Looking up. The grapes still there, still waiting. And then a breeze, stronger than before. It moved through the vines like a soft wave, and one small cluster of grapes shifted. Lower. Just slightly. Lumo noticed. His ears lifted, his eyes softened. He stood slowly. Carefully. One last jump. Not forced, not desperate, just natural and tease time. He reached. For a moment, everything felt still, as if the entire valley was watching. As if time itself paused. His paw brushed against the grapes. Soft, cool, real. He gently pulled one free. Held it. Looked at it. A tiny drop of morning light shimmered on its surface. He hesitated. Just for a second. The old voice whispered again. They are sour. But this time. He smiled. And he tasted it. Sweet. Not just sweet. Warm. Gentle. Like sunlight after a long night. Like a quiet truth finally understood. Lumo sat down slowly. The world felt different now. Not louder, not brighter, just clearer. He didn't rush to take more grapes. He didn't run to tell others. He simply sat there, holding that quiet realization that sometimes things are not sourte, just untested. The valley stretched peacefully around him. The vineyard stood silent once more. And Lumo lay down beneath the vines. The breeze returned, soft. But from peace. And as sleep gently took him, one thought remained. Light as air. Soft as a dream. Maybe the world isn't what we are told. Maybe it is what we quietly discover. The vines swayed. The grapes shimmered. The valley rested. And everything was finally still. The morning unfolded slowly, like a curtain gently lifting. Golden light slipped over the hills, touching the vineyard with warmth that felt almost alive. Lumo was still lying beneath the vines, still, breathing softly. The sweet taste of the grape still lingered in his memory, not strong, not overwhelming, quietly present, like a gentle truth that didn't need to be repeated. He opened his eyes. The sky above him was pale blue now, soft and endless. For a moment, he didn't move. He simply listened to the wind, to the distant birds, to the calm rhythm of everything around him. Nothing rushed in the valley. Nothing demanded. Nothing chased. Lumo slowly stood up. His body felt light. Not tired anymore. Not restless. Just balanced. He looked up at the vines again. The grapes were still there. Dozens of them. Hanging quietly, waiting. But something inside him had changed. He didn't feel the need to reach again. Not immediately. Not urgently. Because he knew, and knowing was enough. He took a step back from the vineyard, then another, not leaving in disappointment, but in quiet understanding. As he walked through the soft grass, the valley seemed different. Or maybe he was different. The same hills, the same trees, the same sky, but everything felt deeper. Calmer, more real. After some time, Lumo reached the place where the other foxes lived, beginning their day, some stretching, some talking, some already wandering in search of food. One of the older foxes noticed him. "You went near the vineyard," he said, narrowing his eyes slightly. Lumo nodded. And another asked, "Did you try?" There was a pause, a quiet one. Lumo looked at them, not with excitement, not with pride, just gently. "Yes," he said, softly. The group stirred. A few exchanged glances. Some frowned. Some seemed curious, but unsure. And the first fox asked again, "Were they sour?" Lumo smiled. A small, calm smile. "No," he said. "They were sweet." Silence followed. Not loud, not tense, just uncertain. One younger fox tilted his head. "That's not what we've been told." Lumo nodded slowly. "I know." Another fox shook his head. "Maybe you just got lucky. Maybe only some are sweet. Maybe it was different this time." The voices grew slightly louder. Not aggressive, just protective of what they had always believed. Lumo didn't argue. He didn't try to convince them. He didn't explain too much. Because some truths cannot be given, only discovered. "If you want to know," Lumo said gently, "you can go and try." That was all. Some foxes looked away. Some seemed to think. Some quietly dismissed it, and that was okay. The wind moved through the valley again. Soft, patient, unbothed. Days passed, then more days. Then many Lumo returned to the vineyard. Sometimes not every day, not with urgency, just when he felt like it. Sometimes he would jump. Sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes the grapes felt closer. Sometimes they didn't. But he was never frustrated, never rushed, never disappointed. Because the vineyard had taught him something deeper than just reaching grapes. It had taught him stillness. One evening, as the sky turned into deep shades of orange and violet, Lumo lay beneath the vines. Again, the same place, the same gentle ground. The breeze returned, soft as ever. And once again, that quiet whisper came. You understand now? Lumo didn't open his eyes this time. He just smiled slightly. Yes, he whispered back. Tell me, the voice asked softly, what did you learn? Lumo breathed in slowly. The air was cool, peaceful. I learned that not everything people say is true. Learned that fear can sound like wisdom. Learned that trying quietly is better than walking away loudly. The vines rustled gently, almost approving. And the grapes, the voice asked. Lumo smiled. Again, they were never sour. Long pause followed. But it was an empty was full of understanding of quiet truth. The sky darkened slowly. Stars began to appear again, one by one. Just like before, everything felt familiar now, but also deeper. Lumo closed his eyes. The ground felt softer than ever, the air warmer, the silence richer, and as sleep slowly wrapped around him, the vineyard stood still, watching, waiting, just as it always had. Somewhere in the distance, a young fox paused, looked toward the vines, hesitated, then took a small step forward. The story was not ending, not really, because the vineyard would always remain. The grapes would always hang. The question would always exist. Are they truly sour, or have you just never tried? The wind whispered softly across the valley. Like a lullaby, like a gentle reminder. And under the quiet sky, everything slowed. Everything softened. Everything rested. Lumo breathed deeply, calmly, peacefully. And the world drifted into silence. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your night. May you find deep peace and restful sleep. Wishing you the sweetest dreams. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.